Hey everyone, I'm Mike DeLong, and this is my first review video. I'm going to tell you what I thought of all the movies I watched last month. I decided to give you my reviews from least favorite to most favorite. Let me know what you think. I watch a lot of different movies. I've got some movies from last year on here. I'm still trying to catch up on a lot of things that I've missed. I also watch movies that I feel I should have seen already. I've got a good list going back to 1980 so far. I watched one movie that I loved as a kid that I shared with my 5-year-old, and I've got some classics there that I watched with friends, just to let you know what to expect in this video. The first movie on this list is Star Trek Section 31. I gave it 2.5 stars. This movie's not for everyone. If you like Star Trek Discovery and you like Emperor Georgiou's character, there's going to be some things that you enjoy in this one. I had a really good time while I was watching it, but we all have a good time watching bad movies sometimes. The new characters are a bit two-dimensional, and the story is a bit predictable. It felt like the 2-episode series premiere of a new show. And I think that's what actually happened, because this project started out as a TV show. The next movie I watched was Your Friend Nate Bargatze. I gave it 3 stars. This comedy special is pretty funny at some points, but I was disappointed at the end. It kind of fell flat and just ended abruptly. I've liked Nate's other specials and his episodes of SNL a lot more. The next movie on this list is called Outstanding, A Comedy Revolution. I also gave this 3 stars. This movie covers the history of LGBTQ comedians and kind of culminates in a comedy show where all of the performers are members of the LGBTQ community. It was interesting to see this history, but as the movie went on, you spent less and less time with each performer. This makes sense because it became more acceptable to be out, and so more comedians were performing as themselves. I was disappointed though, because some of my favorites like Susie Izzard, Fortune Feimster, Tig Notaro, and Mae Martin were hardly in it at all. It needed more of a balance between the history and the present day. If they would have done that, I think I would have enjoyed this movie a lot more. The next movie I watched was Handling the Undead. I gave it 3.25 stars. This is a very unique zombie movie. If you're looking for your standard zombie horror film, this isn't the movie for you. I don't know that I'd even call this a horror movie. The dead do come back to life, but they don't do your typical zombie things. They don't have the insatiable hunger for flesh. This Norwegian movie is more of a study on grief, but I don't feel it goes far enough. It's a quiet movie with very little dialogue, which helps in some ways, but more dialogue could have connected us to the characters a lot better. It's an interesting watch, but I just don't think it goes far enough into the things that it wants to do. Next, I watched Legend from 1985. I also gave it 3.25 stars. This is the first time I've seen this Tom Cruise movie, and I thought it was fine. I don't feel it's anybody's best work in terms of acting and directing, and the story was a bit thin. The reason to watch this movie is for the makeup. It's big and exaggerated, and it looks amazing. I like this movie more than I liked Lady Hawk, which I also watched recently, because that movie has this synthesizer score, and I have a hard time with that kind of anachronism. There's a lot of 80s movies in this genre that I like, but this one, it just missed the mark for me. I'm Thinking of Ending Things comes next, and I also gave it 3.25 stars. This is a weird one. It's Charlie Kaufman, so it goes with the territory. When it began, I liked how he used the aspect ratio to kind of make you feel confined in the car with the 2 main characters. But once they get to Jake's parents' house, it starts to get weirder and weirder. The relationship between Jake and his parents is contentious and really not what you expect at all. And then time starts to get all messed up. You don't know what's real and what's not. Once they finally get back on the road, it feels like the outside of the car doesn't exist. Everything looks black. They end up at a high school, and then there's this dance scene. I wrote my review weeks after I saw it, and I don't remember exactly how the ending went, and that might be one of the reasons why I find this movie a little disappointing. There's no through line to the movie, and I'm left asking myself, what was the point? The acting and overall production of the movie is great. It's not really a movie for someone who just wants to shut off their brain and be entertained. But again, it's Charlie Kaufman, so I repeat myself. Next on my list is The Magnificent Ambersons. I gave this movie 3.25 stars. This is the second time that I've watched The Magnificent Ambersons, and I remember liking it more the first time. I feel it's an incomplete movie with a great theme of the failure to adapt to changing times. I know this isn't really a hot take because this movie famously had its heart edited out by the studio to appease test screening audiences. However, I was so interested in the story that I ended up reading the book. It really makes me wonder if the TV miniseries was any better. In the story, the main character is insufferable, and I don't know why anybody likes him except for his name and good looks. And the love interest, I don't know why she cares for him at all. But at least she pays attention to red flags. It could have been something great, but sadly, we'll never get to see Wells's completed film. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel to see future reviews and find out what's coming to a streaming service near you. The next movie on this list is Nightbitch. I gave it 3.5 stars. As a stay-at-home dad, I found this movie somewhat relatable. The movie's about the struggles of a stay-at-home mom. She loves her kid, but she's having trouble adjusting to her new life and the loss of her old life. Her new life is even more difficult because her husband is away from home Monday morning through Friday afternoon for his job. Her struggles ease as she transforms into this alpha dog at night and plays dog with her son during the day. Amy Adams is really good in this movie, but the story is really unclear about what's real and what's not. For example, in one scene, Amy Adams takes off her shirt and she has like rows of nipples like a dog. But in another scene, they're gone. So is she imagining it or not? I don't know. I think this movie is good for moms and dads though. Let's talk about Three Women next. I gave this 3.5 stars. This is a movie I really need to watch again sometime. It asks a lot of questions, but doesn't really provide a lot of answers. Pinky is an immature teen who needs a job and quickly idolizes Millie. Millie's a little bit older and tries to seem like her life is all put together, but it really isn't. Willie, the oldest, is a silent, pregnant artist who's off on her own for most of the movie. How these women relate is the big question that this movie asks. The performances are really good, and the setting and the dream qualities are part of the reason that Robert Altman made this movie, and they definitely add to the story. I would say that this is not a movie for people who like a straightforward story, though. The next movie I want to talk about is Juror number 2. I gave it 3.75 stars. This is a well-made movie with great acting, but I felt that I knew exactly where the movie was going from the trailer. The protagonist's pivotal decision is not 100% clear, but after a moment of thought, you could figure it out. It was a good watch and worth your time, especially if you like courtroom dramas, but I don't think that this is a movie I'll be revisiting again. It is a good commentary on our court system, which is a little bit surprising from Clint Eastwood. Next on this list is Rye Lane. I gave it 4 stars. This movie is very funny. The two main characters are handling their respective breakups in very different ways. Vivian Oparah plays a quirky, chaotic woman, and David Johnson plays an erotic, unconfident man. When the two of them come together, it's a little unbelievable that it works, but it does. They're great on screen together. Definitely recommend this one. Next on this list is Conclave. I gave this 4 stars. While I don't give away the ending in this review, there may be things that people feel are spoilers, so if you don't want this movie spoiled, skip ahead. This is not a movie I thought I would like. I saw a lot of good reviews, but I just wasn't interested in a movie about the Catholic Church. I was wrong. There's a lot of intrigue to keep your attention, and the acting is great. I did figure out who ultimately was going to become Pope early on. I felt that it was a kind of Chekhov's gun situation. Something that bothered me was that one cardinal received votes to become Pope, but I wasn't sure why he received a single vote. and it really isn't explained in the movie. He wasn't one of the frontrunners to become Pope, nor expected to win, and it's weird that nobody even mentioned it a single time in the movie. Even a single line saying, "I don't know why this guy got any votes," would have probably been enough for me. But overall, it was a great and captivating movie. Next, I watched A Real Pain and gave it 4.5 stars. This is a great all-around movie. Two cousins travel to Poland on a Holocaust tour to honor their late grandmother and reconnect. The title makes you think that Kieran Culkin's character is a real pain to be around, which is true. But by the end of the movie, you also realize that he's dealing with a real pain that he just can't handle. His nominations for Best Supporting Actor are well-deserved, and this is a movie that I highly recommend. The penultimate film on our list is The Neverending Story, and I gave it 5 stars. I shared this movie with my son for the first time, and he loved it. He's a keeper. This movie is highly nostalgic for me, and everything about it holds up, except for maybe some Falcor puppetry. I kept wondering if it should be remade, but I'm not sure that I want it touched. This movie will always be a gem for me. Finally, Nosferatu. I gave this movie 5 stars. Ever since I saw Robert Eggers was directing this movie, it was high on my watch list. Unfortunately, it took me a month to get to theaters to see it, and I was not disappointed. I got excited when Nicholas Holt's character walked out of his house and onto the street, because Eggers' attention to detail on costumes and sets is just something else. There is not a misstep in this movie for me. It deserves every single Oscar nomination it received and more. I hope it could win at least one. I still need to catch up on many awards movies from 2024, but as of right now, this is my favorite movie of that year. Thanks for watching. Please like this video and share it so my channel gets more exposure. Do you have any recommendations for me? Let me know in the comments. This month, I'll be attending the Best Picture Marathon at Marcus Theaters, so I'll be able to bring you my reviews of those 10 movies when it matters least, right after the Oscars. But if you want to know my thoughts ahead of time, you can follow me on Letterboxd. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.